Hello there, Internet. MegaMogwai here, and I got another list of Runeterra video for you guys today. Been reading my comments lately and been seeing a lot of you requesting for Nocturne to return to the channel, considering the champion got buffed in the latest balance patch. I haven't played Nightfall in a minute, and it is a very fun archetype. It's a very interesting deck for me because from a deck building perspective, it's very constricted, right? It reminds me of archetypes like Lurk. They're very, very limited, and champions like Nocturne are pretty much exclusive to one specific deck. But you can still build this deck in several different ways, and it's not as set as its own as something like Lurk is. There's more leeway in Nightfall. And one of the reasons why this deck is really interesting to me is because, or the archetype rather, is because while the deck building may not be as fascinating as other archetypes can be, the gameplay is just really up there. Out of all the decks that I play in Legends of Runeterra, there are few, especially aggressively oriented ones, that are just as intriguing to pilot as Nightfall is. It's just a very, very rewarding sort of playstyle, and I'm very excited to share it again. I saw all the comments, and I'm like, you know what? It's been a while, so let's build 2 Spook for you yet again and try to upgrade it and see how it can fare in the current meta. So there's a few things that I've gone for that I think will enhance our chances against the decks that people are playing right now, and I'm going to try my best to explain why I chose the cards that I chose and what those specific cards are, like the ones that actually help us out a little bit in this environment. So first of all, we're playing Diana Nocturne. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward sort of deck. Like a good portion of it, I'd say like 70% of it is kind of like auto builds itself. You need a lot of 1-drop units to enable the Nightfall triggers. So this deck benefits more from 1-drops than other decks, even though we are technically an aggressive deck. What I really like about Diana Nocturne Nightfall compared to other decks like, for example, Poppy Ziggs, is that we're not just playing units on curve and attacking. Our gameplay is actually much more convoluted than that. We have to carry over spell mana, and we have to essentially sacrifice certain turns developing so we can build up the mana and then set up Nightfall plays. So this is a deck that has turns in which it gets a big hit off, and other turns in which it kind of like tries to rebuild as well. Knowing when to commit your offense is also not easy, and that's why the deck can be very rewarding. I think more than me just like rambling about the intricacy of piloting this deck, I think the gameplay will speak for itself in that regard. And I really like Diana Nocturne because of that. It's not just playing units on curve and attacking. It's actually more than that, and I really, really enjoy piloting it. So because we have a lot of 1-drops, we are trying to aim for turns in which we develop several Nightfall units and try to go for big hits, and we have a couple of atrocities as our late game potential alternate win condition. So as you guys can see, we're playing 2 copies of Moonlight, Affliction, and 2 copies of Atrocity, and also 1 copy of Dust Rider, which actually got buffed a few balance patches ago, I think. It went up from a 2-5 to a 3-5, which is very relevant. 1 extra power point can go a long way. And the reason why we're playing this as a one-off in the deck is because alongside Atrocity, it can be a very neat alternate win condition. But Moonlight Affliction is one of the most important cards that I've added that aren't necessarily or is not necessarily considered a staple for the archetype. And the reason why it's really good in this environment is because, for example, against dragons, they don't really tend to go wide very much, because we have the ability to punish like wide sort of like weenie boards from Bandle City decks with Nocturne in the late game. Moonlight Affliction can help us against more beefy mid-range decks that are quite prevalent right now. So by going for Moonlight Affliction, I can just target 2 big dragons, stop them from blocking, and then going for a strong swing. And through the combination of our key hits with burn spells like Atrocity and also Doom Beast onto the likes of Unto Dusk, we can wear down the opponent and get their Nexus down to 0. And how we combine these cards and when we choose to attack will a lot of times make the difference between winning and losing. So because we're pretty frail, we're a bit of a glass cannon, right? We got good offense turns, but we're also very vulnerable on the defense, and we need to make sure that we can buy time. And that's also another role that Moonlight Affliction provides us, right? And a role provides, that's probably not good English. Another utility from this card. I'm having trouble like expressing myself properly, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So with Moonlight Affliction, I essentially have a 5-mana double Hush that allows me to counter big elusives or overwhelm units, and can potentially mean the difference between me dying or not in a specific round. And a lot of times with this deck, it's sort of a bit of a quirky race going on, right? So being able to buy time and have a card that has both offensive and very clutch defensive purposes is why I feel like Moonlight Affliction really does help the deck compete against other big boy decks in the current meta. So aside from that, we have a full set of Stalking Shadows. This card got nerfed, but it's still pretty essential to the deck because getting extra copies of Doom Beast or 1-drop enablers for Nightfall, etc., can just be amazing, honestly. Like I mentioned earlier, Onto Dusk is really neat. Our primary target will be Doom Beast, but we can be pretty flexible with this. We can apply it onto Nocturne to get a full, -1 swing. Especially now that this ability is retained with the leveled up version of the champion, which is the buff that he received, right? So Onto Dusk works onto him even better. We can also use it onto Stygian Onlooker to get that fearsome and +2 power. We can use it onto Crescent Guardian to get a little bit of extra damage as well. But like I mentioned, the best target tends to be Doom Beast, as it allows us to burn at the opponent after we've dealt damage. In some decks, they manage to stabilize, and combat no longer is an option to close out the game. So this card is just very, very flexible in that regard. Also, like, Turbo levels up Diana, in case you were wondering, because it triggers Nightfall twice. So that's also a very big deal. She's leveled up, then that means the card can represent a huge power spike in her as well, which can also potentially work with Atrocity as well, amongst other things. So yeah, big shout outs to the Flight. Very, very key 1-drop in this deck, as it allows us to set up our Nightfall plays and also push for a little bit of chip damage while replacing itself by going back to the deck and allowing us to cycle through the deck. And, it's kind of, like I said, like a glass cannon sort of 1-drop, because we lose the elusive blocker by doing this, but it really does help us apply pressure and not run out of gas as easily. It's just very, very clutch and very useful here. And that's essentially where I'm going to stop rambling at, because I've been talking for like 7 minutes nonstop. I've been also speaking pretty fast, but I think I covered everything that I need to cover, and I explained, the strengths and the weaknesses of the deck. And when it comes to the Mulligan, it depends on the matchup, but generally speaking, you do want to find 1-drops, and you want to find cheap Nightfalls to start things off with. You generally don't want to keep cards like Dust Rider or Nocturne in your opener, especially this. Like Nocturne, depends, but for the most part, you don't. And like I said, you want to aim for your lower curve. The Mulligan is less of a thing than the actual piloting is. It can be a little bit counterintuitive, but like I mentioned, it really depends on whether you have the attack token on turn 1 or not, and what kind of matchup you're facing. So yeah, that's where I'm going to end this TED Talk at. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed today's games. I think they're pretty spicy, and I'll be back at it tomorrow. Let me know if there's any other deck, any other new upgraded card from the balance patch that you want me to showcase in the comments. I read them all, and I really appreciate the support. Love ya. Have a solid day. Enjoy the matches. I'll see you tomorrow. All right, it's Dragons. Not too shocking. The deck is pretty popular as of now. We gotta be very, very wary of our Mulligan here. I think I'm gonna Mulligan away everything, including the Moonlight Affliction, which can be potentially very good, but for the sake of actually finding my pieces and being able to apply pressure early on, as we are gonna pass here because we don't really have any setup plays. There's Diana, but we're gonna have to carry over our mana, unfortunately. This is rough. We found no enablers.
Dragon blood, Demacian heart.
Let the blood boil, half dragon.
I'm gonna play the Crescent Guardian.
Break them.
Just tapping it on the board. I'm gonna take the hit. I'm just thinking about how I'm gonna approach this. So I'm setting up for a turn 4 in which I don't really like the Solari Soldier here. I like the Flight instead, because our stats just aren't quite there.
Smoke, ash, and dragon fire.
Cold and unforgiving as moonlight.
Night descends. I will be heard.
I could attack with you, but I'm gonna hold back.
I smell fear.
As foretold.
There is nothing like that pain.
Could have attacked with you, considering if you had sharp sight. I didn't approach that properly, but I wanted to have the on to dusk here.
We wear red.
To honor fallen.
Would you know them to see them again, Jerick? What's the fire breath this time?
A soldier should know to stay out of the way.
Ready weapon. To arms!
Suffer my fury.
Where were my comrades?
Our light rose. They tried to blind me with resplendence, but they could not break me.
No mercy for heretics.
Cloaked in silver light.
I'm gonna go double pill cascade so that I can survive these exchanges. Shyvana levels up.
Witness my true power.
There's not much we can do about that. You know, I'm not happy to see that, but at least we clear the rest of the board. Don't have to worry about. Ooh.
Our light grows brighter.
Shining gifts from the sky. Follow the horizon.
Face your heretic.
Drop him down to 5. Alright, I like that moonlight affliction. I want to prevent him from being able to generate the strap and strike. There's no direct damage that I have to worry about. We're gonna go for the Yawn to Dusk here, and we're gonna set up the Moonlight Affliction for the win. That's why I'm running this card. And while Nocturne is very, very tempting, I believe my best strategy is to just go in for an attack. You could have a concerted strike, but beyond that, it has to be my best option, right? Just gotta think, okay? So we play around Judgment, we play around... There's just too much. If we go wide like this, yep. Pill Cascade, Moonlight Affliction.
I cannot turn back.
Let's get it. Guiding Touch. Not really something you would expect in Dragons. I feel like there's a lot of slots, but we got him, baby! Dragon down! I repeat, Dragon down! Beautiful.
The words of the heretic rang true.
I don't really understand that. The heretic? Why you call him? The words of the heretic ran true. Can somebody explain that to me? I'm not sure I'm following that. Really happy with that first game. You know, normally I just jump into the next game immediately, but I'm gonna have a tiny monologue here. Like, I just really want to express how important Moonlight Affliction was there, and how important I feel it is for this deck, because it gives us both a defense option, like a card that can just like silence 2 units, so like a double hush, right? That can go a long way defensively, like buying us a turn, especially against big elusives, overwhelm units, etc., right? And it also helps us close out the match. Like, I feel like that and Atrocity really do enable Nightfall to be quite a bit better than people are saying it is, honestly. But I mean, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I felt really, really nice there. So I don't know, just I think there may be room for this archetype in the current meta, and that makes me excited. So yeah, let's go for another one. All right, Lux Braum. I'm intrigued. Frostbites could be annoying, but everything else seems fine. I'm gonna go ahead and mully away a Diana and a Pale Cascade here, though. It's important for us to find our enablers, our one-mana enablers. I really like the flight, though, because the flight shuffles back. Allows us to get a little bit of damage early on, and at the same time, cycle through our deck. Now we have Pale Cascade enabled. It's fine. Wanted to bait in there and see if he did anything. He's on the job. Wow. Well, that didn't work out. I'm gonna pass.
Let's show our friends that we should be friends.
Only a fool would enter battle unprepared.
I'm gonna play the Crescent Guardian.
It is easy, see?
By the moon's crescent blade.
Come on in. Good times, good friends. What could be better?
They tried to blind me with resplendence, but they could not break me.
Just try to find a way to navigate around. Problem is another avalanche just hitting us too hard, you know?
The skies darken.
You could have an Ice Shard. Ice Shard would hit us really hard, honestly. But I'm trying to go for the Moonlight Affliction here since I do have an Atrocity. I have to worry about Frostbites though, so this matchup is definitely very awkward. But I'm trying to put us in a situation in which I can just win with Doom Beast. So he has a lot of cards in hand.
My patience wanes.
But I feel like Moonlight Affliction is the oh! Blight Ravine? That's a big hit. Catalyst. 4, okay. She's got a lot of ramp going on. Alright. Do you have Field of Rush? It's at 10. So whatever's happening here is happening, but we have Atrocity.
Come on in. Good times, good friends. What could be better?
Night flowers upon the flame.
The promise of a new moon upon you, Bloom Tender.
Time to celebrate!
Let the light guide you.
Cloaked in silver light. No more lies. I will be heard. Face your heretic. I will be heard.
I'm gonna attack with the Flight like this, and I'm enabling an Atrocity. The problem, like I mentioned, is the threat of a Frostbite, or even but this like Regi combination is very interactive with how I'm trying to end this game. There is a Throw Chant though. Let's let that go through. Okay, I think my opponent just left himself wide open. Actually, managed to blast that immediately. God damn it! I can't trigger the Nightfall now. Ah, I forgot that it's a burst speed effect. All right. Let's think here. Just there's no way for me to enable this Atrocity.
Come, a new phase awaits.
A beacon through the dark.
No.
Okay. It's a Pale Cascade.
Temperamental as moonlight.
All right, this time we do find. I mean, it has to be the Flight, right? Could easily have a frostbite now. Why are you getting cocky? Like, this game is not over. 3 cards in hand. The reality is, the longer this game goes, the more likely he'll have an answer for this.
First we fight. Ha! This is fun, yes?
You cannot hold us down. We will be free.
It is easy, see?
So we top deck here. Oof. All right. All in.
Darkness hides in my path.
Oh man, what a game! What a game, dude! Oh, there we go! Oh, nice! Wow, that was tight. Echo. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want to see an Echo deck, considering the recent buffs. Because I would enjoy doing that. Okay, so we gotta think here. I think leading off with Solari Soldier is always the way to go. These are all not bad options. But I'm gonna mulligan away these two. Stalking Shadows can be pretty neat, actually. I'm gonna drop the Unto Dusk. Now I could just wait for the next round, but I'm actually gonna do this
Ours is the one true light.
because we have the attack token,
Follow the horizon.
and getting 3 damage on him here is really neat. We'll have to find another enabler. All right. Okay, there's your boy Zilean.
Keithia is depending on me.
We're definitely noticing the effects of the Stalking Shadows nerf here. All right, definitely not what I was expecting.
My plans!
This represents more damage, but this is also easier to enable. It's harder to stop.
Darkness hides in my path.
I'm gonna play Lunari Shadestalker. Alright. Staging onlookers can represent a lot.
And it's not perfect.
If your prediction is correct, much to look forward to.
We can always power them up later. We gotta work for that Nocturne win condition. We're running low on enablers here, though.
We can always rely on you to keep us safe.
I'm gonna play the Crescent Guardian, just...
The guilty will pay.
Could have a... Like, now we're setting up for a time bomb is the problem, right? Okay, that's good. I may have to resort to Stygian Onlooker just to enable the... Okay, no Hexite Crystal. Good. We're very vulnerable to that.
Dusk approaches. Find your path in the dark and follow no false light.
We're going in. Whatever the cost.
Face your heretic.
I don't think I want to kill Zilean because I gave him the ability to play another Zilean. I get to level up Nocturne here, which is really important.
Real good to see you.
Echo, you were supposed to be here tomorrow.
You said that yesterday. Good one, Zil. High five, yeah.
Okay, no Hexite Crystal yet.
Machine's great. Super cool.
Your idea, Kay. I'm glad you like it. Heading topside.
See if he finds the kernel brick here. He does. All right.
This is my future.
Hide no longer.
The skies darken.
Meet destiny.
I gotta play around. I'm vulnerable to like burn here. Okay, no Hexite Crystal. All right.
No, deja vu.
I just gotta hope that I stay alive until then. I have double do beast here. Yeah, GG. I had to take a risk because I needed Diana. I need Diana to win there. GG. I cry every time. So the reasoning there was basically I could have blocked with Diana and not be vulnerable to a burn lethal there, but he was so low on cards that I just had to hope, because if I lose Diana, I just do not have enough of an attack. Like, I needed Diana's challenges, potentially challenge the Echo was still going to be able to block into my fearsome attack. And I needed that to happen in order for me to threaten lethal, because I couldn't really be taking more hits from Echo, and they were just going to end up drawing the Hexite Crystal anyways. I don't know. It's definitely a difficult call to make at that point. We drew a bit too heavy, unfortunately, and we weren't able to really go off. I wonder, like, I'm not against like the idea of like going back and seeing if I did anything wrong though, because I feel like that was a winnable game, and maybe I slipped up at some point. But that last decision, I stand by it. You know, I just had to take a bit of a gamble, and it didn't work out. So, all right, next one. And now it's Teemo. Teemo and Caitlyn traps. I have no idea how this matchup goes, but I guess we're gonna find out. We have the Stygian Onlooker. Nocturne looks neat, but I don't need Nocturne so early on. Doom Beast is alright as well. I'm gonna keep this 1, 2, 3 and hope I can find enablers. There we go. If we see turn 1 Teemo, I will lead off with the flight. Maybe not, because I'm really looking at this flight into Stygian Onlooker on turn 2. Otter Push in this deck, I'm not sure what the point is, to be honest. I don't like that one bit. Let's lead off with the flight to enable our Stygian Onlooker.
Prepared for anything. Bullseye!
Nice. It's the kind of one drop I like to see.
I'll scout ahead. This doesn't mean everything. We were peaceful once. Mother Moon veiled me.
Alright, getting for that Diana level up. Alright. Gonna lead off with the flight.
I think we have something on that case.
Whatever the cost. I'm gonna hold on to this Doom Beast because I don't have a clear attack with it right now. Even though I could work for Nocturne's level up this way. But I feel like it leaves me a little bit too wide open. I'd like to combine it with Onto Dusky here.
And spoil the surprise?
Interesting.
Just trying to help. 2, 3, 4.
Alright. I'm gonna wait for him to do that.
Brothers.
And play the non-ephemeral flight to be able to block into Teemo. There's your boy Nocturne. Alright. Happy with that line of play. I didn't rush into that.
Stand aside. An expert is at work.
Alright. Man.
They forced us to choose death or the fight.
Have a mushroom.
F3.
No stone unturned.
Yeah, you don't got good attacks. And this Nocturne is just the shit. Ephemeral, non-ephemeral. I'm gonna play the flight, and I'm gonna set up the Nocturne. This is the turn 2 Nocturne. I mean, yeah, you can just butcher the flight there. What should I guess you? That is one hell of a Nocturne if I've ever seen one.
Observe and learn.
I could go for an Onto Dusky here. Allows me to just remove this blocker as well. But I'm actually not there yet anyways.
Sorry. Rise.
Beg your pardon. I'll recite your rights.
A missing piece?
We will be free.
Stand aside.
I'm overdrawing. Alright, now I'm overdrawing. That is one tough card to overdraw with.
Vandal Scout Troop Leader, at your service.
Well, you're certainly the fuzziest partner I've worked with.
I'm gonna drop the flight.
Scoping the area.
Armed and ready.
I'm gonna block into the veteran investigator, taking a big hit in the process.
Enough for everyone.
Invisible to the ignorant.
Heard there was a little fella asking for me.
Mother Moon veil me.
I love the smell of mushrooms in the morning.
I've always been a fun guy.
Closing in on the mark. No backup needed.
We gotta lead off with a flight. They're down to 3 cards. So now is when we gotta go for the opening. I'm sorry, like my narration is a little bit lacking today. It's just that this deck actually, even though like Nightfall is actually very complex to play, and it takes my full concentration, honestly. It just has to be you onto this. There's just no.
The moon is our queen. The night, her kingdom. Cold and unforgiving as moonlight.
Show me the file.
Well, that's a little bit annoying.
Even a full moon has a dark side.
Three cards left. What could he have for 3 mana? I mean, he could have something like a thermogenic beam or a get excited. There's ways for him to kill this Nocturne. Besides that, like stress defense, there's no other play here. Because I want to drop this flight to challenge this Caitlyn, but I don't think I need to. In fact, I think instead, what we do is this. There we go. We spooky, boys! We spooky as fuck. And he's gotta try to go for that kill.
Examining the evidence.
Should be fine, right? Alright. I got me worried for a second. Booyah! Oh, that was beautiful. Man, that was satisfying.
Full moon casts her light across the land.
Dude, Nightfall is just a really fun deck to play, man. It's challenging. It's definitely challenging. Like, finding the right openings. And that Nocturne late game just feels so neat. And I love the buff. I love that he retains his initial ability now. So even if you manage to level him up, you can play him and still get his on-play ability, which is just really, really nice. Granting something vulnerable is, you know, I mean, compared to Merciless Hunter, it doesn't feel as amazing, but it's fantastic nonetheless, especially setting up for that lethal. Overdrawing that Dust Rider kind of hurt because the reason we're playing this as a one-off is to combine with Atrocity as a potential alternate win condition, right? So we would have had one hell of an Atrocity target that only the likes of Minimorph or Stress Defense could really counter with that region combination. So I have a lot of units, man. I have 21 followers, which, you know, because missing that Stalking Shadows earlier definitely hurt, and it feels like sometimes I'm lacking a bit with it, but it's so crucial. Perhaps the deck can be optimized a little bit in the sense that we can run a few more Nightfall enablers, like we can run a few Fading Memories. Like, Fading Memories seems to be too good not to play, right? But I don't really want to remove any 1-drops, because 1-drops are really, really important to enable our plays. But there's definitely room for upgrading, I think. Though I'm pretty damn satisfied with this first take, especially with the Moonlight Affliction. I think this card is so damn clutch. I dig it. Hopefully you did too. And that's where I'm going to end it at. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for daily Legends of Runeterra content. Leave a like if you enjoyed. I'll see you tomorrow.